The United States can buy real goods from the world using pieces of paper it creates out of thin air, oil from the Middle East, electronics from Asia, labor from everywhere. And instead of getting poorer for doing this, it gets richer. Any other country tried the same thing, its currency would collapse, inflation would explode, and chaos would follow. But when the US does it, the global system bends to absorb the shock. This isn't magic, it isn't charity, and it definitely isn't fair. It's a system where simply owning the world's money becomes a business model. To understand this, we need to rewind. After World War II, the world was exhausted. Europe was destroyed. Asia was rebuilding. Most countries were broke, unstable, and desperate for trade. The United States was different. Its factories were untouched, its economy was booming, and it held most of the world's gold. So the US made a deal with everyone else. We'll provide stability. We'll guarantee global trade. We'll protect shipping routes. We'll keep the system running. In return, the US dollar becomes the center of the global economy. Trade is priced in dollars. Loans are issued in dollars. Central banks store dollars. At first, dollars were tied to gold. You could, in theory, exchange them. Then, in the 1970s, that promise quietly ended. The US stopped backing dollars with gold. And nothing collapsed. Because by then, the dollar was backed by something much stronger: global dependence. Today, if you want to buy oil, you need dollars. If you want to pay international debt, you need dollars. If you want financial stability, you hold dollars. So here's the key idea. The entire world needs dollars, but only one country can create them. Imagine if every country needed electricity to function, and only one country controlled the power plant. That's the dollar system. When the US prints money, it doesn't just affect Americans, it affects everyone. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. When America prints dollars, it sends them out into the world to pay for imports, to fund military bases, to settle trade deficits. And in return, it receives real things: cars, phones, food, oil, human labor. Paper goes out. Real value comes in. That difference is profit. Not because Americans are smarter, not because the US is more productive, but because the currency itself is valuable. Most countries have to earn foreign money before they can spend it. The US doesn't. It issues the money first. Now let's talk about debt. The US government spends more than it earns every year, trillions more. Normally, that's dangerous, but US debt is different. It's issued in dollars, and since the US controls the dollar, it can never truly run out. Who buys this debt? Foreign governments, foreign banks, pension funds, investors all over the world. Why? Because US debt is seen as the safest place to park money. Here's the irony. When the world is calm, the US borrows cheaply. When the world panics, the US borrows even cheaper. During crises, money doesn't flee America, it runs toward it. Wars, pandemics, financial crashes. Each time, global capital hides inside US dollars and US bonds. Fear strengthens the system. So the US gets to spend more, borrow more, and delay consequences longer than any other country in history. But there's another layer people don't talk about: inflation. When the US prints massive amounts of money, prices rise, but not evenly. Some inflation stays inside the US, some leaks out. Foreign countries holding dollars lose purchasing power. Dollar-based savings quietly shrink. It's like a tax, paid by the rest of the world. No bill, no vote,
No announcement.
Just math. For decades, this system worked. Trade expanded, consumption exploded, and the U.S. lived beyond its means, while the world allowed it, because the dollar was trusted. But trust is fragile. If countries stop needing dollars, if alternatives grow stronger, if confidence cracks, what happens to a country whose biggest export is its money? The dollar flows through the world like invisible power, shaping trade. The U.S. can print, spend, and borrow while the world follows. For decades, this system worked. Every empire, every system, every currency has its limits. If countries stop needing dollars, if alternatives rise, if confidence cracks, then we are left with the question that shadows the entire system. What happens to a country's biggest export is its money. And in that uncertainty, the story of power, trust, and money comes full circle. If you found this video insightful, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. It helps us bring more explanations that make complex finance simple and clear.